does that even mean, Bowers game quarterback?
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited checking out Super Vampires from Queen Games. This is for 2 to 4 players. Age is 6+. It'll take about 20 minutes to play. And in Super Vampires, there's a secret evil doctor over here who, for some reason, instead of murdering you in your sleep, is throwing garlic into your house, which for some reason doesn't have a roof. And then your job is to go around with your finger, pushing around your vampire, trying to collect garlic and collect the most garlic because you're trying to be the best vampire at your house. I don't know. Theme, really kind of a weird one, but is the gameplay good in this children's dexterity game? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alright then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Super Vampire. So first and foremost, we have our handy dandy rule booklet. It is 2 large pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples, and overall it's very well done. It should have you up and running in no time at all, and we didn't really have any questions after reading the rule booklet. So big thumbs up on the rule booklet. One thing I do want to mention is that it talks about having to use a vampire figure, but they actually didn't include a vampire figure. Somehow they forgot that in shipping, or it wasn't healthy, or who knows. So actually we don't have a vampire figure, which I find kind of humorous. But anywho, this is how it looks when it's set up. And you are going to have to take it apart when it's in the box, I do believe. Either that. You know what? Actually, I think if you take out the box insert, you can make it fit. But when we tried to put it in there without the box insert, I think... yeah, so if you take out the box insert, I'm pretty sure it will fit in there. But actually, you're going to be building this 3D structure. And this is going to be the Vampire's Crypt. Now, one thing I want to mention is this part comes off, and there's actually another part that just has different placements of the garlic. Doesn't really make that much of a difference in the game, but still something you can add into it. So next, component-wise, what you're going to get is garlic. A whole bunch of garlic. And this is how you're going to win the game. The person who collects the most garlic when it runs out, or if you want to play a shorter game, you can just play it to a certain number, is going to be the winner of the game. And how does it work? Well, it's really quite simple. What's going to happen is you are going to be taking turns. And one person is going to be the vampire trying to get the garlic that's on top of their house and then feed it to their garlies or something. I guess there's like an evil doctor who came and put garlic around your mansion instead of just killing you. I don't know why he didn't just kill you. But yeah, he put garlic around your mansion, and so now you have to clean up your mansion. And for some reason, you're trying to be the person who cleans up the most, which in actuality, most of the time in real life, you try to clean up the least. But that's neither here nor there. So one person is going to go first. They are going to be allowed to move their vampire around, touching only the sides of it in order to pick up garlic. How you're going to figure out where the garlic goes is based on this die right here. While everyone else is going to do is they're going to be rolling these nighttime dies. Most of the time it's nighttime, but every 1 out of the 6 spots is a daytime, and then you have to put them into this spot. So you're playing a 2-player game, that person rolls 6 dice. If you're playing a 3-player game, then the other people are rolling 3 dice. If you're playing a 4-player game, then the other players are all going to be rolling 2 dice, attempting to fill this up. Because if all 6 of the sun die are inside a little day tracker, then the vampire is done collecting garlic, and if they have not put the garlic back into the hole, they lose that garlic. So let's just show you how it works. So first, to start off, I'm going to be putting a piece of garlic onto the blue spot right here. So boom, I pop it onto right there. Everybody else yells Super Vampire, and let's just pretend it's a 2-player, so they're rolling these dice, and then I am moving this. It's going to be really hard to do it at the same time, but let's say, hey, they got a sun right here, so they would place the sun into that. And they'd immediately pick them all up and roll them all again. And you get it. They're trying to go as fast as they can in order to fill up the different spots with the sun. While they're doing that, the other person is going to be moving as fast as they can without falling down, because if you fall down, then you have to go back to your starting nest, trying to move to where the garlic is, put the garlic on top, and then they have a choice. They can either take the garlic back, or they can roll the dice. And if they roll the dice, they are saying, hey, I'm going to be able to press my luck and pick up that one as well. So then you have to push with the garlic piece on top to collect it. And like I said, oh God, oh dear God. So they would go there, this piece would go back to the blue spot, and most likely they would score no points on this turn, because chances are these people would have filled up the sunspot. But if they are able to get back, they place the garlic into there, and that's some of their points for the end of the game. What do you do after that? Well, you guessed it. Blue's going to do it, then yellow's going to do it, then red's going to do it, then green's going to do it, then blue's going to do it. And you keep doing that until you completely run out of garlic, or until you want to stop. Whoever has the most garlic at the end is the winner of Super Vampires. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game is played. Alright then, Super Vampires from Queen Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros. Let's go over the cons. First, on the pro side, the game is easy to learn. It's easy to teach. It looks cool. It has that visual appeal. Like if kids see you playing this on the table, they're gonna be like, "I want to try that. It looks like fun." Oh, I like looking at all the little areas in the vampire's house. They could have just had like a very generic vampire house, but they knew their clientele was going to be kids, and kids love looking at the stuff in the house. And we'll sometimes, after we're done playing, pretend like we're little vampires going around and playing pool and having dinner and hiding in the closet, doing all sort of fun stuff like that. So they did nail how this game looks. The vampires, it's not just a cube or a cylinder, it's actually a vampire. So they did do that. Component-wise, I'm very happy with the components. Also, I'm pretty sure if you take the box insert out, you can fit everything in there. Maybe you just have to take this part out and then you can fit everything in there. But that's good because reassembling them is not the best thing because they're all very specific on how you put them in and where you put them in. But being able to store it like that is a pro. So I talked about the rules, I talked about the components, the gameplay is easy to learn, easy to teach. I liked it best at 4 and 3 players, and I think it's way more balanced at 4 and 3 players. I guess that's kind of a pro, that your game feels balanced at 4 players. 3 players less so, but definitely not 2 players. Any other pros? No. Moving on to the cons. I was not a fan of this game for a couple different reasons, especially how the rule booklet says you play the game. So first and foremost, if you're playing this as 2 players, it's nearly impossible. It's just incredibly difficult, even for adults, to get this garlic, and there's no way you're going to go through the whole bag. You'd be sitting there playing for about an hour if you tried to do that. Because here's the thing, if you're playing with 2 players, one person rolls 6 dice, and they have a 1 in 6 chance of getting it. And chances are they're just going to roll, pass, put, roll, put, but you don't have time to do anything. Because moving it around is actually pretty difficult. Also, another con, I find it humorous that there is no vampire figure. I don't know why you needed a vampire figure in the first place. Sanitary reasons? No, because everybody touches components no matter what. Just seems like an odd choice, and it's kind of a little bit of a black eye that it's like, hey, get the vampire figure, and they're like, hey, actually, we don't have a vampire figure. Very odd. Continuing on with the cons, it says ages 6+. No, thank you. This game was incredibly frustrating for the kids that I played with, my son, who's now 6, and also the older kids in my class as well. The big reason why is there's just not enough time. I mean, when you play 4 players, then you have enough time, because everybody's only rolling 2 dice, maybe somebody gets poor dice rolls. You have a better chance of trying to get points. 3 players, slightly less so, but, oh man, there's just so many cons. I'm trying to all combine them all. But yes, it's not easy for adults, it's not easy for kids, it's not easy for anybody, and you're going to want to house rule this game to make it so that you're going to a certain number of garlic, or something like that, like 5. Because there's very few times that anyone got back with 2, because it's difficult to maneuver it, and you don't have enough time, and when you're trying to get kids to play games, the last thing you want is them to be stressed out and not be any scoring points. So you either have to, kind of be like, oh, I'm rolling the dice. Oh, that die just rolled away. Oh, it's all on the table. I'll be back in a couple minutes. I'm going to find the die in the kitchen. Like, you have to do that kind of crap, and I hate when games do that. Because if you designed a good children's game, I don't think you should have to do this. So, ages 6+, absolutely not, unless you absolutely house rule the game, which we did in my house, and you have to make it so that you roll the dice, like, really, really stinking slow. Or maybe just do 1 at a time. That might be another house rule, but either way, house rule is going to be the name of this game. It should be called Super Vampire, the quest for house rules that make it playable. Enjoyable. Not playable, enjoyable. Any other cons I have of the game? It's the same game over and over and over again. You're not really going to do anything. You're like, oh man, you remember that one time maybe you ever got 3 garlic? But that'd be like nearly impossible. In the end, Super Vampires, I'm done talking about it. It's not a game that I can recommend. I don't think it's a good children's game. I think this is actually I think this is a below average children's game. I have no desire to ever play this game again, and I don't think any of the kids in my class would really disagree. So Super Vampires from Queen Games, definitely a dud, definitely one I would recommend you stay away from, even though it is going to be dirt cheap on Amazon. Well, there's a reason it's dirt cheap on Amazon. There you go. That is Super Vampires from Queen Games. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below. If you want to support the channel, click on that Amazon link down below. Buy anything on Amazon, anything with the same amazing great prices, but throws a couple pennies my way. And in the comments below, let me know, when was the last time you played a children's game that was a big disappointment for you? This one, really. I played this a year or 2 ago in my classroom, and it didn't go over well. And then I busted it out just a couple weeks ago to play with my son, and then also to bring back in my classroom to see if maybe I'd done something wrong with the rules, but no, it still was a dud. So actually, this one And before that, Layers, which is a game from Happy Bao Bob. I think it's a Korean company. This game where you just had to like put together these little shapes to try and essentially it's kind of like weird tanagrams a little bit. It wasn't very good. I didn't like it at all. It was too difficult at the highest levels as well. But then let me know in the comments below. What's the last children's game that you played that was a big disappointment? And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.